full of vibe. This ain't no shade, this ain't no flex. Just make sure you tune to the RPX. Stay dropping jewels on the airways. Keep sitting hunting like every single day. This ain't no shade, this ain't no flex. Just make sure you tune to the RPX. Stay dropping jewels on the airways. Keep sitting hunting like every single day. RPX. Yeah, just the RPX where you can sit back and catch a vibe at. But your mind gotta be open like a surgeon with a scalpel. Mixed with the tips that can help with the mental, also the spiritual, and even the physical. The way she break it down, you don't need a visual. Always keep it fair and also critical. Everything is clear, ain't no need for subliminals. Growth is essential. The love is not rental. You might be perplexed, but it's so simple. If you wanna know how you can interact, just hit the IG or the Glock or where it at. So come get involved. It don't even cost. Just hit the DM if you need to talk. So all my good people out there, stay blessed and make sure you tune in to the RPX. This ain't no shade, this ain't no flex. Just make sure you tune to the RPX. Stay dropping jewels on the airways. Keep sitting hunting like every single day. This ain't no shade, this ain't no flex. Just make sure you tune to the RPX. Stay dropping jewels on the airways. Keep sitting hunting like every single day. RPX.
And we're back on the X Radio here on Glockaware, where you can find us every Thursday night. We bring mental health to the forefront here on the X Radio. We are mental health advocates, and in every form and fashion, we want to talk about the subject. So tonight, our special guest, Bandit the rapper, perhaps you've seen him on MTV. He just had his debut of One Night in Paradise. Yep. Check that out. Go Google him. He has stuff on YouTube. He has all this. He even has a charity he's working with at this point to help out the folks with COVID and within the music industry. So make sure you check him out. Google him at Bandit the Rapper and on all social media as well. We're going to talk about depression tonight.
Yeah.
And that's something I know everyone at this table... I mean, I really don't know Bandit's story regarding this, but that's what he said he'd like to talk about. So, of course, I'm with it.
We're here for it.
I mean,
I'm with it.
I feel like it's something that everybody touches on.
There's levels to it.
Yeah, if you haven't touched on it yourself, you know somebody that has.
That's right.
So, you know, I definitely want to touch on that.
Yeah,
right,
so we're going to talk about depression tonight. In the meantime, I want to actually spin that track. What do you want to tell us about One Night in Paradise? I had to put it on my playlist.
Like, I like that.
Somebody else played it. I grabbed it. I put it on my playlist, and I kept listening to it, and I actually DM'd him. I'm like, yo, I just want to let you know I appreciate that song. I like it.
I like that song.
It's good summer vibes, all that kind of stuff. So, and that's how we ended up here. But, yeah, what do you want to tell us about that song?
One Night in Paradise was the type of record where basically I wanted to infuse all different types of music. So it wasn't just Afrobeat, it wasn't just rap, it wasn't just reggaeton, it was all three put together. And I sat in the studio, myself, a few producers, Sion Washington, Kid Sweeney, a couple other guys that was there that, you know, had parts in it, but those were the major parts of the song. And, you know, we just wanted to give them a good vibe and actually capture that moment. And I believe we did so.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely on the summer playlist. And especially kind of like in the summer, you know, it's a little scandalous, you know. So it goes
but
with
it's relatable. It's
relatable.
Exactly. I really relate to that.
You relate to that?
Yeah,
you done took a couple trips and gotten some things?
I'm vibing.
Listen, I understand.
Shoot. It's currently on MTV?
Yes, it is.
It's
currently being played on MTV. Next week it'll be getting played on BET Jams, and the following week it'll be on VH1.
Yes, my brother.
Shout out to VH1, they love me. I actually just made a appearance on Love and Hip Hop a few months ago. And shout out to Fresher. And you know, I'm just working. Just trying to stay blessed. And
we see you. Proud of you. We see you.
Thank you. And I'm just trying to bless others.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how it goes. You know, when your cup is full, now you're able to overflow and give the rest to others that are in need.
That's how it works.
And elevate. So definitely. Took, how about we spin One Night in Paradise by Bandit the Rapper?
24 till I gotta leave. And I really hate the break up floor, but my shorty waiting home for me. Let's take this time to say goodbye. No, you can't come along with me. This one night in paradise, I'm making you what you need. You say you want me, you know I want you to. Before I catch this flight, I spend the night with you. You're so excited, vibe so erotic. No, don't you stop it. I wanna vacate in your tropics. Sexy girl, put it down on me. When you do that, make me not really. Sexy girl, put it down on me. Give me what I need, I'm ready to receive. 24 till I gotta go, 24 till I gotta leave. And I really hate the break up floor, but my shorty waiting home for me. Let's take this time to say goodbye. No, you can't come along with me. This one night in paradise, I'm making you what you need. You say you miss me, I just might miss you too. Before you pour out feelings, pour out a drink or two. You're so excited, vibe so erotic. No, don't you stop it. I wanna vacate in your tropics. Sexy girl, put it down on me. When you do that, make me not wanna leave. Sexy girl, put it down on me. Give me what I need, I'm ready to receive. 24 till I gotta go, 24 till I gotta leave. And I really hate the break up.
That was One Night in Paradise by Bandit the Rapper. You can find him. You can Google him, first and foremost. You can also find him on Spotify and MTV, BET, and VH1 coming soon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know what? I was curious what color you were going to show up with your hair today.
Oh, that's why I got the hat on.
You're in between? Are you in between? Or it was...
Can't tell that right
Okay.
now. I might be ready for a big switch. You know?
Okay.
I'm here for that too.
Next week it might be purple or something.
I was just going to say maybe purple. I was going to
Purple.
say I could see you with like this deep kind of purple. Like, okay, so one of your promo pics is like green hair, but you have that purple blazer. I could see it opposite.
Yeah.
You gotta switch it up. Some,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
What other colors have you had?
I did pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Okay.
I actually do that every time for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Is that special to you in some way?
Yes, I lost a friend to it.
Okay.
So, you know, it's something that, you know.
Sure, it's close to home.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it
Hits
just
home,
hits.
yeah.
I've done pink, I've done blue, I've done green, of course, blonde, of course.
What's your favorite so far?
Red is between red and the green.
Was it like Ronald McDonald red?
It was bright enough. It was bright enough. I mean, my homies called me Elmo.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, you got the Elmo hair. Like,
Yeah, all
fuck it.
right, cool.
That's
Take
what I
that.
got.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Dare to be different. I like it.
But you know, the hair color thing actually came from I'm using the stuff called Manic Panic.
Yeah.
They
Do
sell
you
it.
get the glow in the dark ones?
Mhm.
Yeah, those
But,
ones are dope.
We're working on a deal right now for me to have my own signature color.
Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
why
that-
the color has
that's
been
why-
Okay, got
That's
the-
why I've been
yeah.
keeping the colors.
That's what's up.
So,
That-
yeah.
See, you got to move with purpose.
Yeah.
You have
Right.
to move with purpose.
Mhm.
That's really dope. Yeah, they have a good product if you're into the hair color, the bright colors especially. They have the glow in the darks. When we used to work in the clubs back in the day, we used to do the red, and then under the black light it would glow and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Orange. I had a little bit of every color.
Oh
Yeah,
my
a little
god,
bit of every
cognac!
color.
I can't even imagine, girl.
Everybody says that.
Yeah.
And you know what? For years, like when you saw me today, everybody's like, I never knew you had long hair. Always had long hair.
Right.
Miss Cognac, why is there no cognac here? With a name
She
like
doesn't
that,
even drink cognac.
yeah,
How
I'm
about
coming.
that?
I don't.
wow.
I don't.
It's more of a personality thing.
Yeah, I was about to say, and that's a whole nother show. But I mean, you know.
Yeah, because I'm like looking in front of you, I see a water, and I'm like, how's this work out?
Right.
And when we're out and about, it's wine.
It's a wine. Oh, I love wine.
Oh,
My
okay.
wine and my hookah is all I do.
Yeah. What? Do you have a wine of choice?
Yeah, I was gonna ask them that. I'm the Merlot.
Merlot.
See, I like a rosé, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course you would.
I like
Of
a
course.
rosé.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I
Of
do
course.
rosé and I do Moscato.
Yeah, I like a Moscato.
Definitely the Moscato.
Yeah, a wine. White wine is a little too dry. Red is a little too deep. You know,
Yeah.
I like to.
I like
in
the
the middle.
I like the pink Moscato,
Yeah.
the
Moscato's
pineapple. Yeah.
I've never had
How
the
about the
pineapple
blueberry?
one.
You
I don't
had
like
the
blueberry much of anything.
You don't like? Oh, I love the blueberry
No.
Moscato.
Only thing blueberry I like is to smoke it.
There you go. Listen, you know
Oh,
what?
yeah.
And a lot of people say that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I actually ran into somebody that prefers blueberry rollies, and I was like, really? That's so peculiar.
The strands.
I don't know about that, but they definitely picked the blueberry rollies. And for me, like, blueberry is the one that I just stay away from. Like,
Okay,
that
then we know
flavor
not
is
to
like-
get blueberry for roast.
yeah, it's not my favorite,
Okay.
but I will rock out if necessary.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not that bougie. Not that-
Bad and bougie.
Bad and bougie.
I'm not. I'm really not.
Okay.
All right, so bringing it full circle, we're here to talk about depression today. You had mentioned, you know, different colors that you've done your hair. You've done pink, breast cancer. Is there a story that you want to relate behind your friend? Did you feel a time where you had depression regarding that situation?
Most definitely. I mean, she was very supportive of my career, and to have somebody like that back you, and then you know them that have such a like. It was just such a moment in her life that like neither one of us could ever expect to happen.
Right.
So for
Right.
something like that to happen, and then you know to watch as the sickness is going on, and her
Yeah.
being able, like she
The
wasn't,
progression.
Right.
yeah, she
The-
wasn't able to
yeah.
remember certain things,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it just it really did do something to me.
Right. Hence the reason I go full force now with the cognac name.
Oh, okay.
My dad was the party animal, and to watch him deteriorate without me knowing he was sick, I didn't know. I didn't know, despite that we were still out partying, having a good
Right.
time, and traveling and all those things. So, hence the reason why instead of being depressed, I really, you know, stand on that cognac name. The cognac is that personality that's all over the place, the dancing,
Right.
the more boisterous person.
Is that your cover up, girl?
You
is
know,
that-
I don't have any cover-ups, Rose. You know me long enough. This is
But a
what you-
lot of times,
This is
and-
what you get.
And this is how I've dealt with things in the past, right?
Right.
You put on that, it's not even a persona, but you
Right.
just go into that mode, right?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a persona because you're
Right.
not hiding anything,
Right.
but you're also not dealing with anything either.
Right. Exactly.
And so you're partying, you're having fun, you're socializing, you're
Right.
going out and about, you're being seen, but really, like, your mind, you're not really there.
Right. Right. Right.
Because you're trying to not deal with what is in front of you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Anyone else? Anyone else in that category? I've definitely done it. Definitely done it.
I used to do it, but see, I guess with everything, you know, the coping skills we utilize and all those kind of things, you know, I just, how can I put this? I could be in a funk, but I know how to channel my energies into other things. I utilize,
productive.
yeah, I use my coping skills to become cognac. Cognac is the fun. Linda's the fun. My government name, not so nice. Like
That's
earlier,
nice.
you know, she's not nice. She, you know, what I mean,
Right.
all of those different personalities, but it's still me. It's who I am.
Right.
So I've learned to channel, you know, depression. As you said, my dad met his demise cancer. Right, he was my best friend, and all those things. So instead of being sad, I discontinued the traveling. But I thought about it. Wait a minute. So I started the traveling again. I started to come out. Started socializing more. Cognac. People gravitate more to cognac than anybody.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean? So I try to stay there.
Nah, yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
take a negative and turn it into
Yeah.
some type of positive.
Mhm.
What about Bandit?
Yeah.
about
What about
Is
Bandit?
Bandit different than...
Yeah.
Then James.
Yeah.
James and Bandit the rapper are completely different.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay.
They're
Mhm.
completely.
But
different.
are they true to the core?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
But they're just a different spin-off.
It's like Bandit the rapper likes to party.
Right.
James is
He's
just
the homebody.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you
To
know,
be home and
Yeah.
cuddle up.
he just
chill
wanna
out,
watch
smoke
cartoon.
blueberry
Yeah.
hookah, and drink wine
Drink
and
some
watch
wine.
Teen
That's-
Titans.
Yeah.
how did you know that?
Yeah!
Yes.
I think she
yes.
snuck in my house or something.
Listen, I've
But
been
yeah,
on
I do
the
watch.
road.
I really
Yeah.
do watch Teen Titans.
Yeah, I do too. That's why I'm laughing so hard.
Yes.
I really do.
That and South Park.
I don't like that, but
You
You know
But
what?
you know, but
I
Family
think
Guy.
it's once
It's
in a
always-
while it's funny, but I cannot do marathon South Park.
yeah, my son does marathon.
I know
I
lots
can't do
of people that
marathons or
do.
anything though. It kind of
Goodness
gives me.
gracious, he's burning me out with that.
Nah.
the
You're like,
Amer-
you know when you listen to that, you're in the other room and you hear the theme song
Right,
start, you're like,
yeah.
not again.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
I know.
yeah, yeah.
I had a roommate that did that, and I was
Yeah,
just like,
he's-
oh my gosh,
he-
do you ever watch anything else?
Yeah, he's my roommate.
Right.
He's my roommate that watches those marathons, like the
Yep.
Family Guy, American, and that, all all of that kind of South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bandit does modeling.
Yes.
He does.
I love it.
Like what was your happiest, since let's bring a contrast to the depression. What
Mhm.
was your happiest moment in like public eye
Mm.
that you've had so far?
Happiest moment in public eye so far. It's a tie between New York Fashion Week.
Oh.
Doing the first show of New York Fashion Week,
Mhm.
and I did a show out in Pottsville, and backstage the guy asked me to sign his sneaker,
That's cool.
and
It's
I
more-
thought that was the coolest. Yeah,
Right,
like
it's more personal right there
Yeah.
because it's a smaller audience, but
right.
it's vast.
But it was what made it crazy to me was you're used to like people asking for a picture or something.
Right.
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
right.
But
for
That's-
somebody to
yeah,
ask for a
it's more
signature or
personal.
something,
Yeah,
it was just like
sign my
it's a good-
sneaker.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good
that's awesome.
yeah, it was a great feeling.
That's
Yeah,
neat. We
great.
were talking about that today. Somebody relayed a story to me saying, how they they're used to like people close to them recognizing what they do, but somebody from outside of their immediate group had recognized what they were doing, and
Right.
they're like, it was kind of strange, but it was cool to have that moment of recognition,
Right.
not from one of your peers.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're making an impact somewhere,
Yeah.
and it's such a cool moment.
And that's what it's really about at the end of the day. I mean, I can't speak for all the other artists because I meet a lot of artists and it seems like all they want to do is chase fame.
Yeah.
That's not really what it's about.
What's
You're
your
supposed to use,
purpose?
you're supposed to
Right.
use it for some type of positive,
Yeah.
to impact somebody's life in a good way, not just,
Right.
you're doing it in vain at that point if all you want is fame. Like,
When did you
correct.
recognize that was what is your sole purpose? Like, what is your purpose behind Bandit the Rapper, being Bandit the Rapper?
I'm just here to be an all-around entertainer. It doesn't matter if it's music. It doesn't matter if it's modeling. It doesn't matter if it's acting. I'm just here to, put a smile on your face and, take your mind off of. Because the thing is this: anything in the form of entertainment is so powerful because it can
Yeah.
change our mood.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Music,
we can,
art, yes,
all of these
all
things.
of it.
Yeah.
It's all encompassed.
and I think we take this for granted. I
A lot of
I
people
really
do.
feel
A
like we
lot of
take this for
people
granted.
really do.
That's one of the reasons, I switched my platform.
Right.
I had this platform for a long while.
Right.
And I decided, I don't want to. That's why it's special for you to be a guest. I feel it's a little bit
Thank you.
special because I stopped interviewing artists
Right.
unless it encompassed mental health in some way. And, we spoke about that up front.
Right.
And you're like, yeah, I want to talk. And I'm like, cool, let's do it then.
Right.
Because I just decided that it was important for me to be able to use my platform in a way that can, make change.
Right.
Right.
So that's where we are with it.
Right.
That's so cool.
That's
It's-
awesome.
yeah, it's so cool.
Us as artists really do need more platforms where we can
I agree.
speak on things that just matter. I feel like the industry is saturated with so many outlets of just, they want to know scandal,
Right.
all those type
Yeah,
of things.
TMZ
The
type
messy.
stuff, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
messy.
like-
Yeah, the messy. Mhm.
So yeah, no. Anytime I can, sit down and really speak about, something real that's going on, especially something that is actually close to home for
Yeah.
myself, I would love to talk about it.
Now, how does that help your craft? Do you
Um,
put all of that into your craft?
Honestly, me personally going
Right.
through depression,
Right.
actually the craft helped it in a way where I understood that I was doing something for someone else, and that
Right.
was what put a smile on my face and took
What
me out
got-
of the depression
What
state.
was the aha moment for you? Like, when did you realize that?
It was really just a lot of like self-reflecting and just really thinking about it, like, what is my purpose here? What am I
Okay.
doing? And
Right.
then to notice that when you're looking at everything that you're doing in life and you see that, okay, these is what's impacting people and this is what the attention is, it made me feel that way. And, I went
Yeah.
that direction.
Yeah.
Great.
Let's dig into that. Like, what did you have a moment that you dealt with depression because of a circumstance, or was it more of a chemical imbalance, or was it more of like a lifelong journey struggle?
I feel like it's a mixture of all three, honestly.
Okay.
Me too.
Me too. I definitely
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
I
And see,
feel that.
See,
Yeah.
this becomes one of those. It's difficult for me to speak on, but I mean that's what I'm here for.
We appreciate
honestly,
you.
of what we're talking about and the fact that the whole
We're being
we're-
real, folks.
Yeah.
all
yeah.
stuck
We
on-
know.
We're all stuck on this. We're at a point right now where everything is about Black Lives Matter and everything.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that.
Mhm.
A part of my depression came from the fact that yes, I am mixed.
Okay.
I am black. I'm black, white, and Jamaican.
Okay.
Growing up, being around nothing but black people,
Mhm.
I wasn't considered being black.
Right.
Gotcha.
So you being picked that apart by your own people
Right.
mentally will do something to you
Oh, most
eventually.
Yes.
definitely. Most
For sure.
definitely.
So to hold that on your back
Mhm.
as well as other things, it just started piling up.
Yeah.
But that was the
Like,
was
that was the
the
beginning.
start.
Yeah.
Yes, that'll be. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's something I touch on regularly. Actually,
Right.
you know, the
Right.
places that are supposed to be safe for us as children
Right.
are not always safe. Whether it's the home, the neighborhood, the community.
Right.
A lot of times it's toxic,
Right.
and it evolves into emotional trauma
Yeah.
that we have to deal with in our adult lives, and a lot of times we don't recognize what it is until we're well into our adult lives.
Correct.
Have made many mistakes, acted completely foolish,
Right.
and now we got to deal with all the consequences.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely
We didn't
it's-
have those coping skills.
Yeah,
Like,
it
it goes back to if we
stinks.
have those coping skills in the beginning, like we said, the school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to say, grab them at the knee. You know what I mean? Then when you become older, you already have those coping skills. Now all you have to do is use them.
Right.
Yep. In whatever manner works or however it works.
For me personally, my journey through depression over the years, when I started going to therapy,
Right.
I wasn't ready to implement the knowledge, but I gained the knowledge.
Can I ask
Right.
you something?
Go for it.
Did going through therapy, did you feel like that really helped you?
At
Or did
the
it bring out more
time-
things? Because I know a lot of people say that going through therapy actually hurt them.
Let me put it this way. I wasn't in a state to be completely honest, either A, with myself at some times,
Right.
or B, with the therapist.
Right. Because you have to, you know what? Yeah,
So
yeah.
you paying them to lie to them? Like,
Listen!
wait,
No, you-
how's that go?
Right.
Okay, so...
Well, you have to have that
This is
rapport with
how-
your therapist.
Yes, you
And
feel
if you don't, yes, I do. Because if you don't have it, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up Catholic. Like, we already was telling our deeper secrets to a stranger.
Right,
Anyway.
a
Yeah,
box.
yeah,
Yeah, like, so I can't even relate at this point. I'm like, huh?
yeah, yeah.
Just
I grew up Catholic as well, but we did
So
not
you're used to it.
necessarily. I had been experienced to sit in the box once or twice, but it's
Oh,
not.
I stayed in that box all night.
It's something.
He was mad at me.
I believe it, but
Right.
it's not. It's not something like we weren't deep in the religion, so it
Okay.
wasn't like that's what we did every week. We went and
Right.
sat in the box and confessed our sins and all that stuff. No, I had done it once or twice just as part of the routine.
Right.
But going back to the therapy, you know, yeah, like part of it, Cognac, is what you said. Is
Yeah,
you know
it
you
was
need to
not
have
gonna
that
work.
rapport, and I was kind of in a transitional period in a lot of ways.
Okay.
A lot of ways at that time in my life. And one of those things was I would get a therapist, we would click, things would go great, and then they're like, hey, by the way, I have to move.
Yeah, that's
You see
that's
what I'm
it.
saying?
Listen, that's a
So it's
huge.
like, first of all,
yeah.
I hate to repeat myself. I hate it, and especially if it's something I don't really want to talk about to begin with.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
in therapy, every time you meet a new therapist, you got to start. It's like dating.
Yeah. Oh
You
my
got to start from
gosh.
scratch. Hey,
Oh
by the
my-
way, my name is Rose.
Oh my gosh.
This
What's
is
your
my
favorite
list of
Yeah, I don't feel like
issues.
that.
I don't feel. Yes, you feel me? I don't feel like that.
Let's get to
How do you compare therapy to dating?
because let's just,
I know.
because let's just get to the
No, I
24
get it.
hours.
No, I can't. Let's just get to the 24
I feel like all that.
Oh, man.
Let's just get to the romance period,
Yeah,
the
that,
honeymoon,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
now
Yeah.
we're vibing.
Right.
We're on the
right.
honeymoon and we're vibing.
Mhm.
But before that, when you are, you're. That's exact. I know. Okay, listen. It works out perfect in my head. I don't know. Yeah,
Right.
because literally, you have to reintroduce yourself and
Yeah.
start over with your
Yeah.
story shit, and it's just like, man.
And then you have to make sure that therapist, that person, is still a person. You know, are they looking at the time? Are you really listening?
Yeah,
Are you clocking
It's
the
kind of like
money part?
dating, right?
Yeah,
Are you into me? Because I'm trying to be into you right now. Are you into me?
You know, how much is this going to cost me for you to not pay attention? Because you know.
Yeah.
Am I
It's
just
time
another
and money
right.
out your schedule
Yeah.
in your life?
I have to
like,
be
just like
transparent.
dating.
Yeah.
Yes. It's an investment.
Can I get that refund?
Yeah,
Like,
you
damn.
know what? Listen, they tell you no.
Okay.
That was whatever you paid for while you were dating. That was you paid for a lesson.
Well, yeah.
If you didn't get that money back on that investment, that was a lesson.
Well, I'm broke then. It was just a lesson.
Girl, listen, I went broke a couple times. I
You
went
went broke a couple? Oh,
I
man.
went broke a couple times, but it's cool because I'm rich now. So
Yeah,
Hey.
I have the knowledge.
You
I
made
have,
it.
Yeah, I have the
You
knowledge. I
made
have
it.
the self-worth.
Life equals X.
Yes, you need to have those experiences to really build your catalog in
You
life.
You do.
And it's
You
all
do.
built on experiences. And whether you were ready for it at the time or you failed at the time or whatever the outcome was, you still had that experience and you could later take that knowledge, even if you weren't ready for it then, which was my
Right.
whole point.
Right.
I wasn't ready to implement the knowledge. But
Exactly.
years later, I had it in the catalog to pull out when I was ready.
Yeah, yeah. You know, that goes back to, you know, when I did that as part of my job, because I don't like to say clients. I like to call them my guys, right? They said, oh, you'll never get them to engage. You'll never get them up. You'll never get them moving. By the time I was done with him, he had a job making more money than me. By the time I
Yeah.
clocked in for work, he was already dressed and ready to go. You have to know how to engage. You have to go with what fits the person and
Right.
the person you have in front of you, and not just the paperwork.
Yeah. It's everything's not
Right.
a one size fits all
Correct.
thing.
Correct.
There's different ways to motivate people, and like you mentioned, Bandit,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sometimes it's music. A lot of times it's some sort of creativity.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
You have find that spark within them, whether it's music.
That's when it flows the most.
Yep.
Right.
Music, art in some form. Of course, art is a form of music.
Yes.
Whether it's art therapy like Mar does,
Oh, I love Mar.
or music. It's
Right.
just something that ignites that spark
Right.
for them to be receptive,
Right.
Right.
and then you can communicate your message.
Right.
Totally
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Took, if we could go ahead and spin a track.
Whatever you want to play, Took.
Oh yeah.
Whatever you want to play. Oh, wait. Hold on. Pause that, Took. Hold on. Before you even let that play,
Pause that.
that's off of that's off of my album One Night in Paradise right there, and I gave it to y'all first.
Yeah.
Just had to let that be known.
Thank you.
So now go ahead, Took. You can spin that, bro.
What's the name of it?
Go on. Oh, you want it now? Cause she want me. Well, I tell you what. I think about giving her back when I'm done.
I want you, he wants you, but you mine now. Got shooters to prove it and make them calm down. On that Henny, got plenty and put that wine down. Oh, you wanna wine now? Dirty wine now. I'm just living in the moment. Tomorrow ain't promised to me. Wake up, hangover in the morning. Put your ring on before you leave.
She leaving, never to return. Rude boy, my turn. She leaving, never to return. Rude boy, my turn. Sorry, no good enough. She had enough. You only miss her when she gone. She wasn't good enough. You did enough. You only miss her when she gone. Sorry, ain't good enough. She had enough. You only miss her when she gone. She wasn't good enough. You did enough. You only miss her when she gone.
I got you feeling that, feeling them vibes now. He don't do like I do when I pull the rides out. Just roll another, if the high die down. Oh, you wanna slide now? Yeah, we can slide now. I'm just living in the moment. Tomorrow ain't promised to me. Wake up, hangover in the morning. Put your ring on before you leave.
She leaving, never to return. Rude boy, my turn. She leaving, never to return. Rude boy, my turn. Sorry, no good enough. She had enough. You only miss her when she gone. She wasn't good enough. You did enough. You only miss her when she gone. Sorry, ain't good enough. She had enough. You only miss her when she gone. She wasn't good enough. You did enough. You only miss her when she gone.
I'm just living in the moment. Tomorrow ain't promised to me. Wake up, hangover in the morning. Put your ring on before you leave.
She leaving, never to return. Rude boy, my turn. She leaving, never to return. Rude boy, my turn. Sorry, no good enough. She had enough. You only miss her when she gone. She wasn't good enough. You did enough. You only miss her when she gone. Sorry, ain't good enough. She had enough. You only miss her when she gone. She wasn't good enough. You did enough. You only miss her when she gone.
You're the one that's amazing. When the shine like girl, you're blazing. Red carpet girl, you're the one for me. But you're the one that I'm pleasing. When you walk, girl, it's so mean. Red carpet girl, you're the one for me. I want that industry loving. I don't want that industry love. I want that industry loving. I don't want that industry love. I want that industry loving. Don't want that industry love. I want that industry loving. Don't want that industry love. I been flexing the commas. It's been about 48 hours. Time to get up, get inspired. Roll me a L and igniter. Got me a bad bitchy flyer. Do 100 miles of the hour. On the highway, yeah, I'm speeding. Yeah, my Louis V stay bleeding. But you're the one that's amazing. When the shine like girl, you're blazing. Red carpet girl, you're the one for me. But you're the one that I'm pleasing. When you walk, girl, it's so mean. Red carpet girl, you're the one for me. I want that industry loving. I don't want that industry love. I want that industry loving. I don't want that industry love. I want that industry loving. Don't want that industry love.
9-5 down Cali Drive. Red bottoms, VVS, I saw. Diamonds dancing on the moon. She love the way I make that money move.
Yeah, you're the one that's amazing. When the shine like girl, you're blazing. Red carpet girl, you're the one for me. But you're the one that makes me. When you walk, girl, it's so mean.
We are back on the X Radio here on Glockaware, where you can find us every Thursday. You can go ahead on YouTube and watch us like some freaks.
Come see me.
Go ahead to YouTube, search Glockaware, and you will find us live right now. And if not, you can watch it at your convenience anytime, 24/7 afterwards.
Yep.
Today we have Bandit the Rapper, and we are talking about depression. First of all, I gotta say, like, every track. How many tracks are on your new joint?
Ooh, I can't even give you a number because we keep adding to it.
That's okay.
It's about 12 records.
Listen, everyone that I've heard so far is going back on the playlist.
So that means I don't get to sit down.
Right.
Sit down.
That's the whole, you got the whole dance kit and caboodle.
Yes, he does.
Are most of them, do they have like that vibe, that reggaeton feel?
Yes, they all have like the reggaeton mixed with the reggae, the dance hall.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I love it.
I wanted to do something different. I mean, I've been rapping so long. Got tired
Yeah,
of just rapping.
you needed a different feel.
Yeah.
What do you feel like this vibe brings to your audience?
Just a good feel. I mean, right now, especially with this whole COVID-19 thing going on,
Yeah.
people are in the house and they're getting tired of being in the house. So you want to give them something that reminds them of, being somewhere else.
That feel
So
good music.
so the whole feel of One Night in Paradise, the whole album, I wanted you to be able to play it throughout the night and feel like you're somewhere else. Like
Yeah.
you should be able to
Yeah.
close your eyes and feel like you're, on the beach somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So-
definitely get it. I get the vibe.
Yeah, I get that. I was on the beach with my fruity
Yeah.
and my cabana boy.
What do you say? Just tell them what? See.
See, yeah. Yeah, that's why, yeah. Every time, yes. When I'm on the islands, I just hold my hand up this with my fruity. See.
See.
That I don't.
Refill.
That they already
See.
know. See. Yeah, mommy. See.
See.
Yeah, right. No, just bring
Yeah.
that back. Yep.
Girl, we need to go on vacation
I'm
together.
ready. I'm a little girl.
I only come out after dark though, cause I
Me
burn
too.
it in the
Me
day.
too. Me too.
I
Me
was
too.
just in Puerto Rico, man. I
Did
love
you
it over
love
there.
it?
How
I would
was
love to
it?
go there.
Yeah, I would love
It looks
it.
beautiful.
We were supposed to go next week, but somebody's scared. But that's another show.
That's
That
another
fear. That was
show.
last night.
If y'all
Yeah.
don't just put on 2 masks and call it a day.
Who,
Listen,
me?
I'll
I'm
go.
not worried. I'm not worried.
I'll go. Let's go.
Alright.
Y'all want to go? We're
Yeah,
having a whole.
listen, and
We
to-
are all going.
And see, cognac will just be there by the time you getting your stuff
Right,
together.
we'll
I'm already
see.
there. See,
See?
See?
by
Waiting on
myself.
you.
Yeah. Well, if not, listen. I know how to maneuver. I get around.
Right.
Hey.
Yeah, I get around.
Right. So, man, yes, definitely good vibes.
Yeah.
He gave us an exclusive.
Appreciate you.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
oh, yeah.
he
Had
has
to.
good stuff
Yes.
coming out and being showcased. How did you get to where you are now? Like, how'd you do that? How'd you end up on MTV? How'd you end up on Fashion Week?
Yeah.
Well,
You
I
just
was
said it and did it?
yeah, I definitely spoke everything
Yes,
into existence.
yes.
All right. All right.
I like this guy.
Yeah, I
I
do.
really
I really
did.
do.
That's
Like,
how it works. A lot of people don't understand that's
You
how it
have
works.
to step out there and get it moving.
Yeah, no, that was one of the first things. I told my mom when I was young that I was going to be on TV. I remember watching Michael Jackson dancing around on TV. I said, and I loved it. Like, I just couldn't take my eyes off
Yeah.
the screen. And I said, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
And I did it.
you did it.
And
Yeah.
you're doing it.
I'm not dancing around like Mike, but I'm still
You're
on the screen.
doing your thing now.
yeah.
You're dancing around like Bandit.
Yeah.
Do that.
How we touched on how depression kind of has influenced your music a little bit. Are you in a better headspace at this point than at the beginning of your career?
Yeah, I mean, it still goes up and down,
Okay.
like anything in life does.
Sure.
But I'm learning to control it and just think positive. And anybody that's around me that has a lot of negative things to
They
say,
gotta go.
Yeah,
They gotta go.
have to
Yes,
They gotta go.
brother.
They
Like,
have
if
to go. Cancel.
if you're extra
Yes.
pessimistic around me at this point, like I can't be
That's
around.
not
you.
the vibe I
That's
need.
not
Yeah.
right.
It's not. See, that's being self-aware, which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
That's giving yourself self-love, which we talked about last week. It really does all play into your mental state. You
Right.
need to really be an active. Of course, we all think, oh yeah, I'm an active part of my existence. But a
Yeah.
lot of times we're not. We're on co-pilot,
Well, no, I have,
autopilot.
I have people tell me when I say, I only have time for positivity. They'll tell me things like, oh, life isn't peaches and cream. You're trying to live in La La Land. And that's not what it
No,
is.
Right.
I'm a realist.
Yeah, I'm still realistic,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
just preferring not to dwell
Yeah, exactly.
that.
on negative things.
right.
If you're going to stay in a negative space,
Yeah.
keep your negative ass over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's
I feel
just
that.
what it is.
I feel
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's no getting around it.
I don't really care for people that have that vibe,
Right.
Yeah.
Or if I notice that's their thing, like they're negative thinkers. Oh well, I shouldn't, or they live in fear. I
Right.
shouldn't do this because this might happen. Okay, we all have had crappy experiences,
Right.
Right.
But it's really up to you what you bring in.
Right.
Listen, we all have been through some things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, listen.
2020 alone, if you lived through 2020, you've been through some shit.
That's a
Oh,
weird one,
yes.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like putting gremlins in water. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
sit back.
Forget it.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, oh
Yeah.
shit, this is not what I was expecting. I thought I was just giving it a drink. Like, you know.
You know, I've lost a few people that are close to me this year,
Right.
and you know, I'm just happy to be here and be able to do what, like, to live for them. Like, I feel
Right.
like at this point I'm carrying out, like, you know what I mean, like,
They
and they
get-
were artists. And they were still, you know, pursuing their career. So
Okay.
for them to not be able, I have to appreciate every day that I wake up and I'm still
Yeah.
able to chase
I
the
get
dream.
it.
Yeah.
I get it.
With that said, R.I.P. to my brother Hemo Brown. R.I.P. to my brother Fred the Godson.
Yep.
R.I.P. to my brother Tyrone. Like, I really have taken a few L's this year.
Yeah.
Yes. You just
But
mentioned some
again,
heavy hitters.
But again, it's all about staying positive and finding a way
Yeah.
to turn that negative into, you know.
Stay focused.
Because they wouldn't want me to sit here and be, you
Dwell
know,
on that.
yeah, to be dwelling on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would be the first ones to tell me. Especially my brother Hemo Brown. The first thing he would have did
Yeah.
is told me, like, yo, bro, stop that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it is refreshing when you meet folks that are on your same page.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Now,
you
go
know,
ahead.
you know, it's no coincidence with God, right?
No, yeah.
Oh.
So everything that's placed in your path, it was a reason
Meant
why
to
it was
be.
placed in your
It
path.
has
It was
been.
meant
I'm not here to preach or nothing. No, I'm sorry.
It has been willed. it has been willed.
I'm gonna take my pastor suit off. My
It's
bad.
cool. It's cool. We
Right.
already talked about getting in the little box and confessing
Yeah.
our sins.
Yeah.
You know, and here we are in our little box
Yeah,
confessing
man.
our sins.
Yeah. This is our little box.
But you know what? It is. It's important. It's important to. I feel it's important. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, why do you do that? Why do you talk about that? Why do you?"
Right.
I'm expressing and I'm being relatable. I'm letting you know, like, I'm a real person and I go through
Transparency.
shit too.
Always work.
Because I feel as though, of course, there's certain things you're not gonna air all your dirty laundry, but
Right.
there's certain things.
I will.
And you know what's crazy?
I'm ready to
That's
do a
so
tell-all book.
cool.
I'm ready to do a tell-all
I
book like now.
was too. I thought about it, but all that writing made my hand cramp.
But not only
But I
that, people ever
seriously
think
thought
I'm
about
talking
it.
some shit. But
Yeah,
I'm being
right.
real. Like, that
Yeah.
really happened to me.
Yeah.
I really been through some shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
girl, yeah,
some
girl,
real shit.
yeah, girl.
Yeah, y'all are too much.
We
Oh,
going
you
back and
have
forth
no
with
idea.
the- Yeah.
no
What is
idea.
going on? Right?
You have no idea. That's that cognac shit.
That's
I'm
that
telling
cognac.
you.
Yeah, but
I have no idea.
yeah, for sure. I thought about writing a book.
Yeah.
Actually, a couple people encouraged me last month to do so,
Mm-hmm.
and I really feel as though it would be an interesting read because, of course, I know the contents,
Right.
and it would really be shocking in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah. One of
But-
those stories was one of my stories, believe it or not, y'all. I'll BS y'all now. You can Google it. Wendy Williams. I said, how in the entire hell just little old me get that? Yeah, I got some shit to say.
What?
Oh, I got some shit.
I got some shit to say.
All right, Wendy.
Yeah.
Today,
Today,
let's focus. We're here in studio with Bandit the
we're
Rapper.
always here.
We're having an awesome time. We're having transparent conversation.
Yes.
Can you share a moment with us that was like you felt like you were at the bottom of the barrel with it, and how you overcame that circumstance, or if are you still, you know what I mean? How are you achieving that?
Right.
A few years ago, I was ready to call it quits. You know, the thing is,
And let's just be clear: quits in the music industry or quits in life?
well, I was ready to call it quits on both a few times.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
right now, I'm speaking on the music part.
Okay. All right.
But with the music part, I was ready to call it quits. You know, I have wrote for a lot of established artists, so my publishing checks are fine, but
Nice.
I want them to be
But,
better.
Yeah,
Sure.
I want that.
But I always
yeah.
wanted them to, you know what I mean? Like, you want, that's my 401k. at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, and things weren't flowing the way I wanted them to. And, yeah, it just put me in a bad, you know what I mean, a bad space.
A funk,
Especially when you know that you're creative and you know what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But divine timing goes back to, you
Yep.
know, what we were kind of talking
What
about.
has been willed.
Divine timing plays a part in
But you-
everything, but we as humans have a hard time waiting. We want
Right.
microwave success.
But you also got to put yourself in that headspace also.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
put yourself in my shoes and you're in a club and you see somebody like, you're 9 times out of 10, you guys know the songs I've written for other artists
Right.
word for word. So for me to be in the club and watching everybody sing this song word for word,
And you're not getting credit for
and
it.
I'm not, well, I'm getting credit for it, but it's
Right.
not.
The
Yeah.
headliner, the
Right. So
Yeah.
it eventually it does do something to you, and it's like, you know, all right, he's able to do it. He has the same. If this artist,
This is me.
right, this
Right.
is basically me at that point,
Incognito.
right.
and it's, you know, it just does something to you.
Interesting.
So what did you do to change that scenario once you identified it?
Actually, what was real crazy is another artist actually helped me get out of it.
That's what's up.
For them to actually acknowledge
Now that's dope.
for them to acknowledge the record that I wrote and tell me that they were a fan of it, it brought me to a whole. It changed my mind. Shout out to Neo. That was 7 years
Love
ago,
it.
and it was
love
Neo
that,
that said that to
love
me.
That,
And
love that.
it just, you know what I mean? Like it did something for me, and it put me in a right path of wanting to keep doing music. And then as of recently, I've been working the past couple years. I've been working with Mars Co-op from the Roots, and
Nice.
being around the Roots and them, they have a different way of doing music. and
yeah.
it-
I believe it.
yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
being around that type of circle and you know working with them, it just really like elevated it and it put me in a good spirit. And you know I thank Mars all the time for what he has done.
They seem like they're like a funky ass group of guys.
like
to
just
hang with.
yeah, I would love that.
Explain that if you can, just
Um,
briefly.
yeah.
Like, what kind of vibe is that?
All of those guys are like very positive, very you know they're chill. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
like
not
that.
a
I like
it's
that.
no Hollywoodness
Days.
going on.
Yeah, I love that. You know when
Regular.
Yeah.
when you're just humble like that and you move like that, it makes all the difference.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, and you know the last name is boom, and then the question is, are you related to?
Right.
You know, I get it so often. I'm not nasty with it, but I'm like,
Why do you want to bring that up?
no,
Yeah.
not only that, depends on who's asking.
Right.
Right. So, but he could come in here right now and chill like it's nothing, and that's who, and even his entourage.
Right.
They're all, you know, we
that's
vibe
what-
and we chill. Like,
That's cool.
And that's what it's
So
about.
humble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be that way.
That's
yeah.
how we hear it kind of our period at
Right.
Glockaware. You know, that's the Glockaware vibe.
Yeah, that's what I love
Yeah.
about it.
Shout out to Took, man. Took's always
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's big homie right there,
For
man. It's
sure.
always love when I
Yeah.
come through.
For sure, it's
Right.
always, you know, as everyone says, you know, he keeps the space.
Yeah.
He's the vibe
I love
keeper of
that.
this place.
Right.
So it's either it's good or it's not, and
Right.
if it's not, he's gonna tell you gotta go with
Yeah.
that shit.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's cool. It's always a cool space. It's like a collective of creatives,
Mm-hmm.
and 99% of the time the vibe is dope.
It is.
It's dope.
It is.
You know.
Mhm.
So shout out to Took and
Right.
all of the Glockaware family.
Shout out Glockaware.
Yeah. Y'all have definitely helped me ride some waves out here with
That's what's up.
life. You know, life equals X.
Life.
You've given me
equals,
some experiences.
I like that. You should put that on a shirt.
Yeah, I might have seen it
Yeah.
somewhere before.
You should put that on a shirt though. You should.
Yeah, we
I'd
got
wear
them.
it.
Plug.
I'd wear
What
it.
color you want?
Oh wow, it is a shirt. Oh!
I didn't want to do.
It just threw me off. It's like, I don't
one
wanna-
of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What you
I
mean?
got my
Yeah.
little bagel
Oh.
bread.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, we
the
Brandon.
Yes.
Oh.
I didn't want to like I was flashing you.
Be like,
Nah, hello.
Nah.
I got these melons for sale. No, it's just a shirt.
Right. right.
Just tell us what color you want.
I
We'll
don't
get
know
it
you
done.
want.
I
We'll
don't
get
need
it
the
done.
Me Too movement coming at me.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Right. Right.
But you know what? Listen, he did not solicit. I'm just
He
letting
did
everyone
not.
know out
He
here.
did not.
He did not
He
solicit explicit
at all.
cognac.
It's always cognac. See what I mean? Now you understand what you're getting it, right?
I get it now.
It's always
But
cognac.
seriously, life equals X. You know, life equals the experiences that you take in,
Yeah.
and you decide how you want to utilize them.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you. We'll get you a shirt.
You-
Just
Yeah.
tell the man
Toot,
what
can
color
we get
you want.
what color and size suit? Could you please get him a shirt?
Yeah. Let's play another track by Bandit the rapper. You
Yes,
can
please.
Google him and also check him out on Spotify and MTV.
Yeah, get me ready for the night.
VH1, Google. Yeah, we gotta get on
Fox
our,
29.
Yeah, we got it,
Fox 29.
Shout out to the Q for having me on the Q
I was
show.
gonna say I
Thank
already know
you.
you were on the queue.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Right.
I don't know. I've done some things. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I'm
listen.
chilling.
No, you're
I'm still
good,
working.
You're good.
Right here on the X Radio.
You are now listening to Bandit the rapper.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the remix. Baby, you look so fine. I wanna make you mine, and I won't waste your time. I wanna feel your light. Baby, you look so fine. I wanna make you mine, and I won't waste your time. I wanna feel your light. So necessary, so necessary, so necessary, so necessary, so necessary, yeah, yeah, yeah. So necessary, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not with the games you play. You should swing it my way. I'm smoking, sipping, do say. He got your Uber on the way. I give you what you need. Satisfaction guaranteed. And girl, I'm trying to make you see. Leave him and come with me. He ain't no one I stand. I ain't trying to be your man. What you need, I understand. He can't forget like I can. He ain't no one I stand. I ain't trying to be your man. What you need, I understand. He can't forget like I can. Baby, you look so fine. I wanna make you mine, and I won't waste your time. I wanna feel your light. Baby, you look so fine. I wanna make you mine, and I won't waste your time. I wanna feel your light. So necessary, so necessary, so necessary, so necessary, so necessary, yeah, yeah, yeah. So necessary, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Him too lame, no deserve you. Him no have you wanted him a jerk you. You a big deal, him a irk you. Have the size of the pole if you work you. No, me no boring, me knife like shot. Come to money fall like raindrop. Girl love naked, a wine from me lap. Up in the street, see you give me slow tap. Busy pon the grind, real player never chase. Me no have the time, me busy getting paid. Think him a win, but him out of the race. $2 clown, all up in your face. If you know by now, girl, me want you. Him a tell you thing where him can't do. If we no link, it we haunt you. Yeah, nobody here you belong to.
Baby, you look so fine. I wanna make you mine, and I won't waste your time. I wanna feel your light. Baby, you look so fine. I wanna make you mine, and I won't waste your time. I wanna feel your light. So necessary, so necessary, so necessary, so necessary, so necessary.
You are now listening to Bandit the rapper.
All black Bruce Wayne with the dread. All black Bruce Wayne with the dread. All black Bruce Wayne with the dread. All black, that's gonna be a dog. Black on black, black on black on black. It's gonna be a dog. Black on black on black. It's gonna be a dog night. Me, I'm cruising through the street. Give a fuck about a light. Whipping that slow, whipping that curve. Whip me your black stunner tints, bag me a hoe. Grab her and swerve, burn out on all of her friends. I am nocturnal, nigga hot like inferno. Eat the strip up like a sterno. Y'all niggas lame I won't even complain though. Clean the squad, I pull that train though. Me, I'm insane though. Nigga crazy with flames though. Make this shit easy like free throws. Y'all beast than me, no, I promise you lying. Pull up in all black, see that fear in your iron. I don't give a fuck about word that you're speaking. All that shit you preaching, the proof fuck around, how your ass slump right over like Lincoln or Kennedy. Y'all ain't no friend of me. No threat or no enemy. Honestly, ain't worth my energy. Pray for the enemy. Or hate that you sending me. Act up what you pay for thinning me. Playboy in the daytime, baller in the nighttime. Y'all motherfuckers walk a thin line. Y'all niggas think you doing something till I make a phone call and have my young niggas doing something. Middle finger up, still don't give a fuck. Ain't in the race, but you niggas running up. We on the grind, yeah, we live it up. Black on black, everything when I play the cut. All black, Bruce Wayne with the dread. All black, Bruce Wayne with the dread. All black, Bruce Wayne with the dread. All black, Bruce Wayne with the dread.
We are back on the X Radio with Bandit the Rapper. I want to thank you first and foremost for coming on the show, for wanting to talk about issues that I feel are important for folks to relate to, because we all, as you mentioned, we all struggle with that,
Yes.
whether you want to admit it or not, in some shape or form.
Yes.
You know, through the years, we all have things that we become downtrodden about, and really have a hard time getting over, whether especially death.
Yes.
A lot of times it's death. That's the most common one,
Yes.
because it's something that everybody can relate to.
Going through
But
it right
there's
now.
definitely multi-faceted situation out there with depression.
Yeah.
So I hope that everybody is able to maybe kind of just learn, take in some sort of peace, to find
Right.
hope, and to also, you know, say, hey, you know what, I'm not the only one out here.
Right.
And that's really the whole purpose of the show.
Right.
So I want to,
appreciate you.
yeah, definitely thank you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, songs are dope. Please go check them out. Check out MTV for his. Can they also find the video on YouTube as well?
Yeah, it's actually out on YouTube, Vivo, anywhere you can watch a video at, you can pretty
Check
much
it
find
out.
it.
One Night in
Bandit the
Paradise.
Rapper, One Night in Paradise.
Check that out. I'm interested in adding the whole John to my playlist.
Yeah,
because
I
it
have to. See, now I'm not gonna be able to sit down tonight or for the rest of the week.
Yeah, Bandit the Rapper.
Yes.
So
Yeah, time is flying. Yes,
yeah,
more.
it definitely is. It's already mid-July, so check us out next week on the X Radio. Find us here at Glockaware 6 p.m. sharp. We're going to go ahead, take a break for the happy hour, and then we'll be back with the Glockaware Radio Show 8 to 10 with Toucan Sam and Shab Bananas.
Yeah.
Until next week, the X